When celebrating spring, you can't beat cheesecake, truly. And my no-bake cheesecake with blueberry sauce really hits the spot. Now, how is it that I got through my whole baking career without ever making a no-bake cheesecake? And now I realize what I've been missing, so it's time to share this recipe with you. I have 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs, and I will pour into that my 1/2 cup of melted butter. This is unsalted butter. The butter is actually double the amount. And that's because I need to have this crust set up in the refrigerator. So now that I've got my butter worked in, it is quite moist, but that's expected to happen. And it's soft now, but because the crust is chilled, it will set up firmly. I've got my spring-form pan. For a no-bake cheesecake, I line the bottom of my pan with parchment. I lightly grease the pan just so the parchment sticks. You can line the sides with parchment, or here I have acetate, a clear plastic, and it really gives your cheesecake a clean look to it, so you don't have to put anything on the sides. And just with a regular tablespoon, pour this all in, and then just use the back of the spoon to press it in an even layer just on the bottom of the cheesecake. You don't want to go up the sides at all. There we go. You can see how smooth it is. Now I'm going to pop this in the freezer. So you can chill it for about an hour if you want in the fridge, but I find 10 minutes in the freezer does the trick, and that's basically all the time I need to make my filling. All right, this cheesecake itself, this is absolutely magical. You get that silky smoothness that you expect out of a cheesecake, a baked version, but yet with this no-bake cheesecake, it's got a fluffiness that is just incomparable, almost mousse-like, yet you can get a nice clean slice out of this cheesecake. I've got 750 grams, so 3 packages of brick cream cheese that I've softened. I've just whipped it up a little bit, but you really want to make sure you soften it nicely before you start adding your sugar. Now, I'll keep mixing, and I have 1 cup of icing sugar that I'm going to add a little at a time, scraping down the bowl as I go along, again, to prevent lumps. And you'll find that the cream cheese really softens up because the icing sugar dissolves very quickly into it. There we go. Now, the rest of the cheesecake assembly, I can easily do by hand because this cream cheese now is so nicely softened. So you can see this is already nice and soft and fluffy. But next are the key ingredients that sets a no-bake cheesecake apart. First is 1/2 cup of creme fraiche. So I'll scrape all of that in. And to really work within the fat of the cream cheese and the creme fraiche, you need some acidity by adding 1.5 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. All right, now the lemon juice isn't so much for flavor, even though I love lemon flavor, and you could add lemon zest to this recipe to really bolster that flavor. But the acidity in the lemon juice works with the creme fraiche and the cream cheese to set the cheesecake. That way, you don't need eggs, you don't need to bake it, and you don't need gelatin or any other setting ingredients. I'll add 1 tablespoon of vanilla, which is a generous amount, but that is the singular flavor of this cheesecake. I find it's fresh and fluffy and light and suits springtime fruits to finish and serve it. I'll get to that blueberry sauce in just a minute. And now for the final ingredient, some whipped cream. This truly sets this cheesecake apart from a baked one. So I've got 1 cup of whipping cream I've just whipped up and popped in the fridge to keep it cold. And you want to fold this in at the last minute. As you're folding this in, you can feel it actually starting to set up as you're stirring it. Pull from the bottom and lift over so that you know you don't have any cream cheese stuck at the bottom. Yeah, that cream cheese was so soft to start, but yet you can see how it's already starting to tighten up. Now I'll go grab that crust that's been in the freezer. It doesn't have to be set to any particular point. Honestly, 10 minutes in the freezer does the trick. And the entire filling goes right on top. I just use my offset spatula just to spread it. And all that's left to do for the cheesecake is just to let it chill. Literally, you just let it chill. Minimum 6 hours, but that makes it a great make ahead dessert because you can make this a day ahead, let it chill overnight. Nothing else to do. Well, there is something else to do. I want to make a fruit sauce to serve with it. And depending on where you are in the spring or even getting into the summer season or the occasion you're celebrating, you can tailor the fruit you serve with it to your family's taste and what is freshest. I love blueberry sauce with a cheesecake, so I'm going to make a very simple one. I've got 2 cups of fresh blueberries here, and I'm going to get that going on medium heat, along with just a tablespoon of lemon juice, and that's just to balance out the flavors, and half a cup of sugar. And really, you don't want to overcook your fruit. I'm not trying to make a jam. I want a fresh tasting fruit sauce. So this just comes to a simmer for about 10 minutes, and then I'll thicken it up. Oh, look how much juice comes out of these blueberries, which is beautiful and delicious, but you need to thicken it up. Otherwise, you'll have blueberry juices running all over the place. So I have 1 tablespoon of cornstarch measured here, and I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of cool water to this. You don't actually have to measure that amount. And this is what's going to thicken up the sauce. You always wanna use cool water when you're making this cornstarch slurry. And as soon as you see the mixture return to a simmer with those thickened bubbles, you want to take it off the heat. And I let this cool down completely to room temperature before I put it in the fridge to chill. So basically, the same amount of time that it takes to chill the cheesecake, you've got your blueberry sauce. It'll be time for that springtime occasion. I didn't cover the cheesecake when I chilled it. You definitely want to leave it uncovered so you don't get any marks on that beautiful surface. And now it's time to plate. You can see that crust underneath there. Pull away the acetate. But you can see how the crust sets so well that you can move it easily over to your serving plate. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. You know, it's amazing. I still can't get over the fact that I have not until now made a no-bake cheesecake. What was I thinking? This is so easy, creamy, fluffy, and nice. I have to show you what it looks like inside. Absolutely perfect. You can see that fluffiness right through, but you get this clean slice. I've got my chilled blueberry sauce here. What an irresistible way to celebrate your next springtime occasion. Enjoy.